This is Dubai International Airport, and it is about 3 o'clock in the morning here and the place is still packed. An international hub like this would be central to a worldwide pandemic if one were ever to come along. So let's talk about the basic reproductive number and how that might impact us. And here it is. The basic reproductive number, also known as the basic reproduction number. It's the expected number of new cases of a disease that are caused by a single individual who has got the disease. And it's an interesting mix of science and social science. P is the likelihood of a disease affecting one person, and K is the number of people that an infected individual is expected to meet. So P is a property of the disease and comes from biology, and K is a property of the sociability of a person, and that's your social science. Now strictly, it's incorrect to say that a particular disease has a particular value for R0. What you really should say is an outbreak of a particular disease had a particular R0, because there's no guarantee that it will be the same in the future. So the value for P might be the same, it might not, but it might be the same, but the value for K might differ in different subgroups within the population. And it can be quite complicated to calculate. This is the formula to calculate R0 for malaria. Now when R0 has a value below 1, it's trending downwards, it's on the way out, the disease is dying out. So every wave of infection is infecting less than one person. On the other hand, when R0 is greater than 1, the disease has the potential to rise exponentially if steps are not taken. And when R0 is around about 1, it's balanced on a knife edge. The disease may take off, it may get lucky, or it may get unlucky. So when R0 is around about 1, it can be worth taking steps to reduce it further. So you could get everybody to walk into an airport through disinfectant, and that has been done when there are diseases that affect animals. You could encourage people to wash their hands more frequently. You could hand out face masks. Let's say that one infected person got on a flight, and let's say that they had the chance to infect everybody on board. Now that's very unlikely, but let's just see what would happen. If there were 100 people on board, and if the chance of infection was 0.01. So if P is 0.01 and K is 100, we would expect there to be one new case on board that flight. If we hand out a face mask to just one person on board, that will reduce R0. If we handed out 10 face masks, that would reduce the likelihood of infection even more. So we don't have to have everybody wear a face mask. We just have to have enough people that R0 is reduced. Now airports are a particular concern because the people that the infected individuals meet will change overnight. So for instance, at a school, if an infected individual is going to school, they meet the same people, or more or less the same people, every day. And yes, the disease might go around those people, but it might not break out beyond that. Whereas with an airport hub, infected individuals are meeting fresh, uninfected individuals the next day. So the disease is getting the chance to spread much more widely. So it might be worth taking steps at airports to try and control disease outbreaks. Now what about a network outside of an airport? How would we control that? Who would we target with a face mask? Who would we target with an inoculation? Who would we target with extra disinfectant? Identifying hubs in a social network is quite a challenge because usually researchers don't have access to the entire network information. So what could you do? Well, one thing you could do is you could ask a random selection of individuals to nominate one person to be dealt with, to be given a face mask. Now, if we do that, there is a good chance that we will identify popular hubs. Now, we could ask the individuals to identify a popular individual, but we don't even have to do that. Just by asking people to identify a person makes it more likely that we will identify popular individuals than unpopular individuals, because the people that we ask are much more likely to know popular people than unpopular people. Now, of course, doing this will put evolutionary pressure on a disease, and it may well evolve into something more powerful, and in a few years' time we might have to go through this all again. And there it is. That's the basic reproduction number. Bye-bye.